Wednesday. You know what that means. Squared Circle Radio is dropping brand new content. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you hanging out with us, whether it's your first time or you're a regular around here. If you're on the YouTube channel, of course, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and then if you're listening on podcast, follow on whatever platform you're on. That's the Young Buck, Andy York. I'm your phenomenal host, Mr. Podcasting Chris Belcher, and Andy, one of the Big 5 pay-per-views, is here. Arguably the most unpredictable pay-per-view of the calendar is this weekend. Money in the Bank. It goes down Saturday night. We're going to pick all the matches. We're going to preview it. I'm excited. It should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Like you said, this is probably the one that whoever we think is the favorite going into it is more than likely not going to win it. No. They're probably going to be the one to, almost win it and then get pulled off the ladder. I still have PTSD from the LA Knight one in 2022.
Well,
it should have been him.
They did. That was LA Knight and Chelsea Green in the same night, if I'm not mistaken. And it was both of them that were like, oh, they're going to win. And then pulled them both out from it. It was ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, man, it's going to be a fun night. Chelsea Green not in the women's match, but LA Knight in the men's. We'll see if he can redeem himself. But if not, only time will tell. Let's get into it, Andy. The men's Money in the Bank match, one could argue that this would be the main event of the show. We will have to see because we got a pretty star-studded tag team match coming down the road as well. But the men, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Andrade, Penta, and as we saw on Monday Night Raw this past Monday, El Grande Americano rounding out the 6. I'm not going to ask you for your prediction yet. We've talked a couple of weeks now about the star power in this match. Is it living up to the hype to you? Are you excited for this one? What's your feel as you look at this lineup?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's living up to the hype is a hard thing to judge, just because sometimes our expectations can be so high that it'll never reach it, never match it. But I think it's for what we have. I really enjoy it. Obviously there's some names that were left off, like an AJ Styles, CM Punk, Aleister Black, even like there's some people that you could argue should be in over some other people, but what we have is very intriguing, very exciting. And really, I could see everyone in this match walking away with the briefcase.
Agreed.
And it wouldn't be a total shocker. And I think that adds a lot of intrigue to this. And I think that adds even more intrigue to it. It's a lot like when a Rumble is like so unpredictable that there's like 6-7 people that could win it. It makes it more, and it's easier to invest in. I think the Money in the Bank briefcase this year is that way. It's very easy to invest in just because of how many options there are, and each option has more pros than cons, which I think is very appealing and very nice. And
very rare, too. Like, you look at some matches, it's like, well, this guy shouldn't win because XYZ, whatever. But Austin Theory, exactly. But aside from Seth Rollins, the other 5 guys, this is a perfect lineup of guys. While it might not be the star of stars like we saw in the Elimination Chamber, a loaded match in the Elimination Chamber, maybe not at Money in the Bank, but Andy, these are 5 guys who are just ready to take the next step. Like, they're just, this would literally, it's like a Damian Priest. It's doing what the Money in the Bank briefcase should do, is take these guys to the next level. Solo, LA Knight, Andrade, Penta, and even Chad Gable under the mask. Like, we're wondering when these guys are going to get their opportunities. And if you take Seth Rollins out of the equation, one of these guys is going to be put up on that next level.
Yeah. And, that was the whole point of Money in the Bank. Guys like Edge, who were well known, but Money in the Bank like pushed him into the main event level.
Sure.
Rollins was another one that got pushed into the Rollins, RVD. Like there's so many people that you could look at. And even guys who didn't or who weren't successful with it, like a Damian Sandow, even the fact that he held it was like shocking. And people were like, oh, Damian Sandow might be world. Like, it added so much more intrigue to a lot of characters and people that normally don't get this opportunity. So, I'm always a big component of whoever's in the match. I would like less world champions in the match than that people that have been world champion. But like this whole entire field is, I think, Seth's the only one that in WWE has held a world title.
That's correct.
But everybody else could potentially be world champion at some point in their career. And it really wouldn't shock us that much. Maybe Chad Gable would be the most shocking, even though he shouldn't be. He would probably be the most shocking to be a world champion. But that doesn't mean that he's not ready and doesn't deserve it. So there's so much intrigue with it.
You don't think Solo would be the most shocking?
To win Money in the Bank, yes, but to be a world champion at some point, I don't think so.
Okay, interesting. I would have thought that you would have gone the other way with that one. Okay.
I mean, listen, I'm a Jey Uso fan. Jey Uso is world champion right now, though. Anything is really, like, anybody could really. It just takes one spark and one moment where you make your career and you're off to the races. So anything is possible, but Solo and Chad are probably the two outliers in this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Even I would put Andrade over those guys. But still. All right, Andy. Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Andrade, Penta, and Grande Americano. We're making our picks. That's what the show is all about, predicting and previewing the card. Who you going with, man? I know it's a wide open field. You said pros, not cons with these guys, but if you gotta pick one, and how the match is gonna end, how it's gonna happen, what you got? What are your feels?
I have dubbed this Money in the Bank briefcase, like this match specifically, if not now, then when.
That's
which
fair.
Is why
that's fair.
I am going with LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, because if not now, I don't really see it happening. Nothing against LA Knight, because I'm probably one of the biggest LA Knight fans out there, but just how this normally goes, you only got a certain window most of the time of when you can capture that gold, and I think he's getting on the back half of that momentum. But that being said, him with that briefcase and having that power over a John Cena and a Jey Uso, potentially over a Gunther at some point. I really like the intrigue of it. I think there are only certain baby faces that could do it and it not like go against their character. And I think LA Knight is one of those guys that he could cash in on a broken, beaten heel and nobody would feel bad for the heel. Just because it's LA Knight and how he does it. So I'm going with the megastar. I'm going with LA Knight to get the dub. But I will say this. I think Penta is going to be the shining star in this. I think LA Knight gets the win, but I think Penta is the shining star.
I love that. It's really interesting because as great as it was when Tiffany Stratton would always come out with that briefcase and the pop that she got, LA Knight already gets that pop. So just imagine if he has the briefcase and when his music hits, the people just will lose their ever-loving mind.
Yes, they will.
Having said that, I'm going to make the case for Seth Rollins to win this match. And here's why. If you want credibility in this faction that is happening right now on Monday Night Raw, and as Seth Rollins said, to get all of the power, what better way to give them credibility? Because we've seen, yes, they won at Saturday night's main event, but every other time they've been running away. Yes, they were standing tall the end of Monday Night Raw this week, but for the most part, they retreat, which is what good heels do. But for Rollins to be a 2-time Money in the Bank winner, for the credibility for this group, and for him to just hold that sucker over Jey Uso's head, because look, Jey Uso faces Gunther the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. That's next week. And all Jey Uso has to survive Gunther, and Rollins just has to walk right out there, and there it is, done. And he's world champion. Very easy to set up Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. So, That's the case for Seth Rollins. However, Andy and I ended our Monday show and started our show tonight by saying that we do not agree on Money in the Bank picks. Tonight changes that because I am going with the megastar to win Money in the Bank as well. I'm like, Andy, if not now, then when? And normally on this show, I try really hard to make the case for somebody else to win. And I just did that with Seth Rollins. But I feel as good as I would feel about Seth Rollins winning. I hinted at it on the Monday show, and I'm going to say it right now. I feel so strongly that the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, is coming back to cost Seth Rollins this match. I feel so strongly about that, Andy, that I don't have a choice. It's the megastar for me. It's LA Knight. It's Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't know when he's cashing in. I don't know who he's cashing in on. But that dude's going to be Mr. Money in the Bank after Saturday. I got a feeling.
Well, that means he's really not winning.
I know. We both think it's going to happen.
Or we just cancel each other out, and he is going to. I mean, you never know.
You never know.
Listen, I completely agree because sitting back thinking about it the last couple of weeks, I really think we're going to do an 8-man tag at SummerSlam. And it's going to be, Seth, Braun, Bronson, and Sammy. Versus Punk, Roman, and maybe like the Usos, or maybe, like Jay and somebody else, Randy Orton, or, I'm just trying to write, like maybe a Damian Priest, or, just somebody. I think you could do those 4 and make it an 8-man tag. So who?
Jacob?
Maybe.
Are we ready for that yet?
Maybe. Then make it a 10-man and just put Solo on the other side.
And then we put a cage around a double ring, and it's War Games already.
Why not? Why not? Listen, we don't have to make it one time a year. We could do it at SummerSlam. I think Triple H is really into booking multi-man matches at some of these big shows to get as many people in the ring as time.
SummerSlam is 2 nights this year. Who's to say that somebody can't pull double duty if you have to?
Right. I mean, we could do this 8-man tag on night 1 and then do Seth and Punk, run the triple threat back, do all 3 of them again night 2 at some point.
Put the title in there, whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think either Roman or Punk are going to cost Seth this match, or both are going to cost him this match.
See that
head into SummerSlam with that.
I would have solidified my Roman prediction a lot more had Punk won the qualifying match on Monday. Because if that happened, I'm ready to put down money that Roman Reigns is costing both of those guys the match. But I still think they're mentioning him too much on TV right now or alluding to him at least for him not to be showing up at this show. Yeah, that's what I think. All right, let's move on to the women's Money in the Bank. Could be match of the night. It's an unpredictable field. You've got 3 very newcomers in Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, and Julia. And then you've got some veteran mainstays, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. Dude, this is set up to make one of these 3 newcomers in a huge way.
Yeah, it is. And I could see one of the 3 of them walking out as Miss Money in the Bank easily.
Yep.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, especially, we've seen how quickly they were in NXT, not Roxanne, but especially Julia and Stephanie, how quickly they were in NXT and gone.
Yep.
There's a rocket strapped to those 2 ladies back. And then obviously whenever she's going to debut on the main roster, Jordan Grace is right up there with them. But yeah, I think an argument could be made for all 3 of them. However, I don't think any of them are going to win.
Oh, okay. Hold that prediction. Because Money in the Bank is supposed to make one of these stars. We talked about it in the men's match. Man, I don't know. It could go either way. All I'm saying is you picked Penta to be the standout in the men's Money in the Bank. Who's going to be the standout in this match? Again, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Julia, Alexa Bliss. Who is standing out above the rest? Maybe not winning, but is going to be better because of this.
Honestly, I think there's going to be two. I think the main roster crowd is going to be captivated by Julia and Stephanie Vaquer.
Yep.
I think they are going to do something in the women's division that we're not used to seeing. Yep. Bring a little bit more of a violent style, because that's just kind of what they've always done. So I can't pick between the two of them, so I'm going to pick both of them.
I like it.
I think they're both going to be the rising star, the main, like the people are going to talk about the winner when it's done, but they're really going to look back and go, but man, Julia and Stephanie absolutely killed it.
I think Stephanie Vaquer, man, is a star in the making. Like her presentation, adding pyro to her first entrance on Monday Night Raw this week. Like, she has some potential,
she looks the part.
Yeah, she does. Yes, 100% she does. Okay, well, if you would have asked me before we did this show, who's Andy picking, I would have said I'm guaranteeing he's picking one of those three ladies, but you're not. So who are you picking to win this match?
My pick to be Miss Money in the Bank is Naomi.
Whoa.
I think Naomi wins the briefcase. I think she cashes in on Tiffy at some point, and that's how we get a triple threat or just a one-on-one between Naomi and Jade for the title. But I could see a triple threat, especially with what happened on Friday with Naomi and Bianca.
Yes. Have
those three ladies in a triple threat for that world title, and they finally crown Jade as the face of SmackDown's women's division and move forward. So I think they put the briefcase on Naomi to do a lateral move at some point.
Okay.
But I think they're going to give her a pretty decent run with the title. And I think her new gimmick, her new character, this briefcase fits that perfectly.
Yes.
And she has done such a good job in this role. I want to kind of see her as world champ. Like, I want to see her hold that over both Bianca and Jade for a little bit. And just, build that fire between them even more. So I'm going with Naomi.
That's interesting. That's sort of like the way that they built up the WrestleMania match between Rhea, Bianca, and Io, with Io being the afterthought, but she was the one that came out on top. You could do the same thing with Naomi. Very interesting. Okay, would not have been the pick that I would have thought you would have made.
I'm going to keep you on your toes.
But it makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a great read on this match. I really think it's a toss-up. I really think it could go either way. As I laid out the case for LA Knight, and as I laid out the case for Seth Rollins, there's not really a good person that I can just lay this out for in the women's match. I don't have a good read. I'm going to guess that Rhea Ripley's probably going to win this match, but I'm going with my heart on this one. Alexa Bliss becomes the two-time women's Money in the Bank winner.
What should be the first?
If you count Carmella and the nonsense that happened in 2018, technically no. But if you don't count the crap that happened with Carmella, yes, I am fairly certain, somebody check me on that, but Alexa Bliss would be the first two-time women's Money in the Bank winner.
I think the only other one would be Carmella. So,
all right. Well, you stall for a second, and I should have had my research. I'm going to look it up right now, and then I will tell you. Here we go.
I think Alexa's a good pick, though. I think any of them. I think, honestly, like my whole premise around this match is, and it's horrible because I love her. I think she's fantastic. Anyone but Rhea.
Right. Yeah.
She is the one person out of all, even the men's match, that does not need this briefcase at all.
Correct.
Which is why I'm terrified she's going to win it. Yep. I really am. Like, I'm afraid she's going to walk out Miss Money in the Bank.
Based on my research, the only technical two-time Money in the Bank women's winner is Carmella, only because we had the controversy with James Ellsworth. But the other winners were Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton. You had Nikki ASH win the match. You had Carmella win. You had Asuka win. So yeah, Alexa would be the first time, two-time Women's Money in the Bank winner. All right, let's move on to the match that seemingly could main event the show. And I'm talking about Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in a mega tag team match against Logan Paul and John Cena. This promo from Friday Night on SmackDown was just fantastic. You felt like that Cody was cooking them. Lots of things to talk about with the Cody promo, actually. Cody was cooking them, and then Cena came out and cooked them. Logan Paul saying, listen, I could walk on water and y'all would, however he said about swimming or whatever. Just some really, really good darts back and forth between these four guys.
Yeah, it was the promo battle that we all kind of expected it to be.
Yep.
I mean, listen, we knew how much we missed Cody, especially after when he showed back up.
Yes.
Seeing him on Friday just felt right. Again, with a microphone in his hand, cutting a promo. I thought they did a great job of selling this. I thought they did a great job of building, because it was put together in a week. So like you had to build some, obviously there's some like intrigue in it already, but you have to build to it. And I thought they did a fantastic job with it. I'm excited for it. I don't really know what to expect. I don't really know what's going to happen. I know I don't know what the end game of this setup is at some point, but I am excited for it. And I thought, like you said, all four guys did their part in building this match on Friday.
If Seth Rollins wins Money in the Bank and this main events, you've got both your champions in this one match, we could see a Seth Rollins world champion by the end of the night. We might not even wait for the Gunther match. We could easily see Seth Rollins be champion. So you're talking about you don't know what how this is going to shake out. That could be how it shakes out.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. We've talked about this is the second match in a row on this John Cena farewell tour. He's only got limited dates. He's only got 20 dates left or something like that, where he's not defending the title. Are you okay with this combination here, this tag match, not just for Cena, but for Cody and for Jey and all that kind of stuff?
I think it's a great way to not instantly jump back in to Cena Cody.
Yep.
And to push that off until maybe SummerSlam. Maybe I think we have a Saudi show between now and SummerSlam, though.
We do. Yep. Not a champion.
So maybe we do Cena versus Cody in Saudi, which would be horrible.
Yeah, awful. I don't want that at all.
But I think it's a smart way to do that. I think it's also a smart way to get Jey on the show without having him defend his title against Gunther right away, too. So I think this is the best case scenario for everyone involved, because you got to get Cody back. You don't want him to have a singles match right away after losing at WrestleMania to then just kind of lose again this quickly. And then the same can kind of be said with Jey Uso. Like, he just won the world title. You need him in there with people to make him feel credible.
Yep.
Having him in there with the other world champion, John Cena, having him in there with Cody Rhodes. So I think it's a great spot for everybody. I think it's smart to do it that way.
Well, let me tell you somebody who is not happy about it. And that is Jey Uso's pops, Rikishi. Did you see this nonsense that he's doing an interview complaining about this?
No.
He literally is complaining about this. And he said, I wish I had the tweet in front of me, but I don't. But he's upset about this being a tag match. And he said something about firing the agents and they should hire him to book his son's match because he could do a better job. And you just laid it out. He's in there with the face of the company, the legend, the GOAT, and the biggest YouTube star in the world. Like, what more do you want for a guy that only has 3 or 4 moves and doesn't cut a great promo and is riding this huge wave of momentum? Like, what more of a rub do you want for the guy?
Yeah. I love Rikishi. I'm still waiting for him to show up in this whole bloodline stuff. Like, he's never going to show up.
I've given up hope on
7
that.
years out, buddy. It's 7 years too late now. If you show up, it's useless. But I think it's just a case of a wrestler living through their kid, which is unfortunately the theme of a lot of wrestlers.
That's true.
Is living through their kid.
Woo! Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, Rikishi's going to be Rikishi.
Yeah.
He's going to speak his mind. Sometimes he's funny with it. Sometimes he's not. Yep. But I think they've done a great job booking Jey Uso since WrestleMania.
I agree.
I thought they've done a fantastic job with it.
Yep.
Of highlighting and using his strengths and kind of minimalizing his weaknesses and putting him in there with people like he's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but he can put together a decent match. His match with Seth was really good. I'm expecting his match with Gunther on Monday to be really good.
Yep.
I think his part in this match is going to be really, really good. So like, I think they've done a good job of just making him feel important and building him up. Even that little interaction on Monday with Gunther backstage, when Gunther was like, listen, you've done a great job playing the part of world champion, even though we all know you're not. You're playing the part of the world champion really well. So like, even though he cut him down, he was kind of speaking the truth a little bit of like, you've done a good job. Like what they've given you, you've done a really good job with it.
Yep. Completely agree. Yeah. Rikishi's just so off base. All right. I know you said you don't know which way this one's going to go, but this is our prediction show. We got to make predictions. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah. I don't know what the end game for this is. I think the outcome is pretty predictable. And that is Logan Paul's going to eat the pin to Cody Rhodes. I think Cody's going to pin Logan. The champs are going to, the babyface are going to stand tall. Cena can use it against Cody to say, well, you beat Logan, you didn't beat me. So, you don't really earn anything. You don't deserve anything. And it's just a good way to get Cody kind of back on track, get that momentum rolling again. And go, probably heading towards SummerSlam with a rematch between him and Cena. So I've got Jey Uso and Cody winning by pinning Logan Paul.
I think you're dead. Maybe
I could even see Cena walking out on Logan.
Yep. I think you're dead. I think you're dead on. I do. It's an exact prediction that I would go with. And to build off of that prediction, what you could do is you have Logan Paul eat the pin, you have Cena walk out on him, and then to avoid the Cody Cena match in Saudi, you have Cena versus Logan Paul. You have Cena be like, you dropped the ball, man. And just, that's an easy feud to build to for the Saudi show. I don't know what you do with Cody for the Saudi show. Maybe he's not even on it. I doubt that, but I don't know what you do with him. But you could have Cena versus Logan Paul for the championship, and that's easy. And you don't waste Cena, Cody, and Saudi that way. So
I agree. I completely agree.
You could go that route. All right, last match at time of recording that has been confirmed. Again, we sort of anticipate another match, whether it's announced on social media this week or confirmed on Friday. But Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, Intercontinental Championship. I'm going to say this, Andy, I don't have a great feel for this one. I think Lyra's done some really cool stuff with her promo work. But I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction and say that I think Becky Lynch wins this match. And the reason, I don't know what else she does if she doesn't win this match. Like, I hate to say that about Becky, but I don't know where we go if she doesn't win. So I'm picking her to win.
Yeah, if she doesn't win, and let's say like a Stephanie Vakir wins Money in the Bank, I think you could do a program with those two.
And have Becky lose again?
She doesn't necessarily have to lose every match. I mean, the Money in the Bank briefcase is kind of there. Like people, Tiffany lost all the time when she was Miss Money in the Bank. And it didn't really hurt her because she always had that briefcase, and it just takes 1 second or 3 seconds to get your win back and keep moving. But I listen, I completely agree with you. I don't know what else you do with Becky if she doesn't win here, unless she's just going to go away again for a little while. Which is a very real possibility that could happen.
Or you could have Bayley show up to cost Becky finally. At Money in the Bank, and then you do a Becky Bayley program through SummerSlam.
Yeah, and I thought about that too, but I still think it makes more sense for Becky to be the Intercontinental Champion and have Bayley be the one to take it off of her.
Agreed.
Because the whole stipulation is if Becky loses, she'll never challenge while Lyra's champ. But if she wins, then Lyra has to raise her hand. And I can kind of get the visual image now of Lyra reluctantly raising her hand in the middle of the ring, but then a smile comes across her face. Bayley's music hits, out comes Bayley. So I could see something like that happening. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like the only legit outcome I can kind of picture and see is Bailey or Becky winning the Intercontinental Championship.
We started this show by saying that our predictions are never the same for Money in the Bank. Out of the 4 matches, we have the same prediction in 3 of them.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, let's run back through these. Let's recap them before we get out of here. Money in the Bank coming up this weekend. The men's Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Andrade, Penta, and El Grande Americano. Andy, who you got?
LA Knight. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. The megastar coming home with a briefcase. Women's Money in the Bank, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Julia, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. I am going Alexa Bliss to become 2-time Miss Money in the Bank.
I'm going with Naomi to get the win.
Surprising pick still. Big tag match, probably the headlining match. Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso against the WWE Champion John Cena and Logan Paul. Who you got?
Baby faces all the way. Give me Cody and Jey.
Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso with their hands raised at the end of the night. I'm right there with you. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, Women's Intercontinental Championship. The man gets it done and becomes a Grand Slam champion.
Big time Bex becomes big time champ once again.
There it is. Money in the Bank. It's going to be an incredible night. We're going to be right back here with you to recap the whole thing. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following on whatever platform you're listening on. Like the video. All the things. We would appreciate that so very much. Andy, I know Royal Rumble is your favorite pay-per-view. And we talked at the beginning of the show about how unpredictable Money in the Bank is. Is it getting close to Rumble? Like, what's your take there?
Kind of getting close.
We're letting it creep into the big 5 now. So
yeah. I'll say this: it was getting close, and then 2022 happened, and then it kind of just fell off a little bit. But it's got a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But it's one of the most fun pay-per-views of the year. I'd probably put it right behind SummerSlam as my 3rd or 4th favorite pay-per-view of the year. So,
and depending on what happens at each will influence Andy's ranking. Yeah. So,
it will.
Hopefully it's
except
a good
for the
year.
Rumble. A bad Rumble is still a fun Rumble.
That's fair. Even when Randy Orton wins it when he doesn't need it, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out
Charlotte.
Or Charlotte for that matter. Ugh. She didn't need it either time that she won it, but that's neither.
No, she did not.
That's neither here nor there. All right. That being said, thank you guys for being with us on another edition of Squared Circle Radio for Mr. Andy York. My name's Chris Belcher. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to keep it locked right here on the channel. You never know when we're going to pop back up and cover the world of wrestling. Catch you guys down the road.